I just want to say, if this is the first video you've ever seen from my channel, this is kind of like a fortunate circumstance because you're going to see me at my most honest, raw form talking about a movie. And today I'm going to be talking about Superman. And with the release of the new James Gunn movie coming out, I love that I've seen a lot of people excited about the character again. I like that it's going to have a new vision that's going to be more or less uniformly accepted by a lot of people based on the buzz, and I can't wait to see it. But I wanted to make a video and just talk about why 1978 movie directed by Richard Donner, starring the amazing late Christopher Reeve, is special and why it's still relevant today. And to start, I want to talk about my personal connection to this movie. This movie is me, is my childhood. This movie, when I watch it, I feel like a kid again. I feel like I'm at home. I'm 5, 7 years old. My mom and dad are there. I feel like a kid. The score takes me to a place of just optimism, youth, and just imagination. This movie, I know like many of you who are watching me right now, maybe you're in your early 20s, late 30s, early 30s, you grew up with a certain movie that is close to you, whether it be Jurassic Park, Toy Story, maybe the Iron Man movies. You hold those dear. And I promise you, as a 48-year-old guy, those movies are going to carry, you're going to carry them inside for the rest of your life. They're always going to mean something to you. The morals, the hero, the story, all of that is going to be somehow embedded in your DNA, and it's going to be part of you. And this movie is what is inside of me. This movie is part of me. It's part of it helped define my moral compass. Believe it or not, I've said this many times, but I grew up in a bad neighborhood where everybody was either in a gang doing things, breaking into cars, stealing stereos, etc. And I wanted to do that because it was cool, right? Everybody was doing it. But I had a moral compass installed by this movie because before I did anything, I was like, would Superman do this? No, he wouldn't do that. And I wouldn't do these things because of this movie. Because seeing this movie as a kid, it's inspiring. I think anybody at any age watching this movie, you walk away feeling hope and inspired to be something greater than what you are. And this movie is this. Christopher Reeve will forever be my hero. He is my Superman. I know Henry Cavill, others may be more popular, right? Better looking, but Christopher Reeve in this movie is the best actor to portray the Superman tights. And it's that good, and it's timeless. So if you ever wanted to know anything about me as far as what movies like embedded me or built me to the person that I am from a moral standpoint, it's this movie right here. And what makes this movie relevant today that everybody should go take a day and watch this is the structure of the film. Because again, you have to understand, right now we live in a world where streaming, everything on demand, movies, everything, superheroes out getting Hollywood budget funds. You have to think back to my day, where we didn't have this. All we had was the Batman cartoon or the Batman movie, Super Friends, and that's it. Every now and then, NBC would do a made-for-TV movie with the Hulk. We never got a movie with millions of dollars backing it up with grade A studio actors. And with Superman, you have to think about this. This movie's almost 50 years old, right? And this movie was featuring Marlon Brando, which at the time was God as far as actors go. So for them to land Marlon Brando to play Jor-El was phenomenal. And then getting Gene Hackman to play Lex Luthor, that was another solid win. That's 2 grade A plus actors backing this film. And a movie like this had never been done. Superman had only been done on the small screen with green screens in the back. So to take on this story, to give it the Hollywood treatment, and to have Richard Donner walk into this project and take it with a sense of, you know what, this needs to feel real. This can't be comic booky. This can't be like the Batman series. This needs to feel like something special, like it happened in the real world. With that visionary approach that he took and the casting, this movie was a first of its kind. But it also had a huge obstacle in making the audience believe that a man could fly because it had never been done appropriately before or ever at all. So if you watch the film now, yes, the special effects look old. I get that, but you have to think about the tools. They didn't have the tools back then. A lot of us could replicate this on our phones or at home. They didn't have this at the time, so they had to just innovate for months and months and months to get the right look. And for me, the look, seeing Christopher Reeve with a screen in the background flying and his performances really with just his hands and his expressions, I think it does more for me than seeing a Brandon Routh digitized just flying across the screen where he looks fake. There's a disconnection there. But to see the acting of Christopher Reeve looking at the screen with a concern, looking for Lois, that lands for me more than the digitized space. So yes, it's old, but I think it captures more of the realism of the character and what he's going through. And then you have to look at the structure of the film. Yes, it can be slow to some people nowadays, but it took its time. Superman doesn't appear on the screen for at least, I think, 40 minutes or so. But the first part of the movie, you have everybody on Krypton. The dialogue is very formal. Everyone's like a scientist, but it's like a classical dialogue of classic Hollywood, right? And then we go to Kansas, where it's just like a Norman Rockwell painting, and the landscapes, the farmland, the patience of the movie, the high school band, everything's like in the 50s, but then again, it's done patiently. It introduces Clark, the frustrations he has as a child, knowing that he can score touchdowns, but his dad reminded him here that you were brought here for a reason, and that wasn't to score touchdowns. To have that father figure die at the beginning of that act of the movie, and then to see him go through those struggles and knowing he had to leave because his destiny was calling him, that whole first act is beautifully made. Now, I know a lot of people may find that boring, but it is epically beautiful, especially the shot where Clark is hugging his mom and the score kicks in and the camera pans off to the fields that he's going to head north. They don't make movies like that anymore.
And of course, in particular, Superman the movie is still to this day the archetype of the perfect superhero film origin story. And we watch it before we make almost any one of our films. And that's been the case for the past 17 years.
This movie is so special that Kevin Feige himself has said that he has all of his productions watch this movie. It's a mandatory watch before you start working on a film in the Marvel space. Now, I don't know if they do that anymore, but in the first few phases they did. And I know that Wonder Woman took a lot of inspiration when they made that movie. So the capsule, the formula, how it's all made is still working to this day. In the right hands with the right director, the right script, it can still work. And this movie also has one of my favorite introductions of a superhero announcing himself to the world. And that's when Lois is on top of the Daily Planet. The helicopter's already crashed over. She's hanging off the helicopter by a seat belt. And Clark looks up. He sees her hat fall down. He picks up the hat. And he turns into Superman. But before he goes, he sees a pimp. And the pimp says, "Hey, that's a bad outfit." He goes, "Excuse me, sir." And he just takes off flying. Now, again, I know the sequence may not be convincing to many people, but that whole sequence, you have miniatures, you have a back screen, you have all these old style Hollywood tricks to convince the audience that a man can fly. And that whole heroic beginning where he catches Lois and the helicopter comes and he catches the helicopter, the music kicks in. That's an awesome introduction. You get the chills, you get inspired, you get the crowd reacting, and then he tells her, like, "I'm a friend," and he just takes off beautifully. And Lois faints, and then he's just flying off to do these little jobs. He's like stopping people from robbing a bank. He's saving a cat from a tree. He's that good of a guy that he's stopping to help a little girl get a cat off a tree. He even stops to get Air Force One and help them land because they lost an engine. So that whole sequence is just so inspiring. You see it for the first time, you can't help but smile because it's that good, because he's doing good for all walks of life. The president down to a little girl getting a cat out of a tree. So that's how good of a guy Superman is. And what's not to like about that? And what may not translate well to today's modern audiences is the pacing of the film. It's very slow. It's very traditional. I prefer that type of storytelling as long as everything's done cohesively. I understand the motivations of characters and I'm compelled by the cinematography, the score, the acting, performances. I'm fine with that, but I know a lot of modern audiences are not. So somebody coming in, early 20s, maybe teens, may see this and be bored out of their mind. And I can understand that. It's just different preferences. But I can see that not translating well with audiences nowadays. I can see the humor with Gene Hackman, Miss Tessbacher, and Ned Beatty, excuse me. And that may not translate well to today's audiences as well. I get that. The scheme that Lex Luthor has, real estate, land, I can understand that as well. It didn't work for me in Superman Returns, where Kevin Spacey's playing Lex Luthor. And again, another land heist. What's Lex Luthor's pimp, man? He can do so many other things, but why just land? But yes, I can get that not being translated well to today's audiences. So yes, I am very cognizant that things may not work and may be too fake for the audience for them to really connect to the material. But again, you have to understand this had never been done before. And as a child, this looked real to me. And I may get emotional when I say this, but what makes this film so timeless to me as well, and what I take away with it every time I see it, is I feel hope. I feel hope. In a world right now that's gone to shit, everyone hates each other. We're so divided. It's a horrible place right now. And The message in this film that Brando tells his son, they can be a great people, Kal-El, if they wish to be. They only lack the light to show them the way. Above these reasons, above all, I have sent them you, my only son. The world needs hope right now. The world needs to be inspired. We need leaders who inspire and connect people, not divide. And this movie, the optimism and humility that Christopher Reeve portrays in the suit and through the character is needed right now. And that's what's missing with a lot of heroes nowadays. We need that inspiration to connect us together. And this movie gives that to me. And it's given it to me since I was a kid. No matter how hard times get, no matter how bad things may seem, Superman is always wanting to do the right thing and to help people. It doesn't matter the political ideologies behind the person. He just wants to help. And the resiliency of that through the character and through the emotions, it's timeless. And I think I know that's what makes this movie so special, especially to me. There's no humility. There's hardly any humility nowadays. And this movie, made almost 50 years ago, about an alien acting like a human, has more humility in him than most people do. That's what makes this movie so special. And that is why Superman is my hero.
This country is safe against Superman, thanks to you.
No, sir. Don't thank me, Warden. We're all part of the same team. Night.
Well, that does it for my thoughts on Superman the movie. Like I said, if you're watching me for the first time, you don't know who the hell I am. My name is Rudy A. My channel is called Gen X Reviews. And as a Gen Xer and who grew up with this, obviously you've seen how special this movie is to me. And again, thank you for watching. And you've gotten a clear, transparent look at who I am and what's important to me from a person and what I look for heroes in movies. And again, this movie's special. I mean, thank you for watching. If you like this video, you want to put some comments down below, go right ahead. Subscribe. It will mean the world to me. Please do that as well. And again, thank you for watching Gen X Reviews. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Tony and CP, two hearts entwined.